Howdy guys, it's Joe again, and today I'm going to be telling you guys the top 5 hardest, or the top 5 highest skill cap heroes in Overwatch. And this is of course using quite a few bits of maths. You got to put those all together, and I do have a link down below to the Reddit post where I pulled all this information, so if you want to check it out, do make sure to check it out right there, and it is a lot better explained than what I'm going to give you an explanation right here. But here's essentially how they decided how hard a character is to play, and you really can't say 100% how hard a character is to play, but here's the math that went into what he did in order to find how hard a character is to play, or what really is the skill cap of a character. Now before I go on at all, I do want to say quickly that this isn't saying how strong a character is, just how high their skill cap is, or just how hard it really is to play the character to their max potential. And with that said as well, a character may be very hard to play and be completely useless, or be very easy to play but be extremely important, so do keep that in mind before you go out shouting these facts to anyone. Anyways, how did they actually find the skill cap of different heroes? Well, essentially what they did was they found the average win rate of every hero, and then they found how many hours it took to go above the average win rate with each singular hero, and that's kind of the main thing that they did. And of course this is a very under-explained version of this, and if you do of course again want to check out the Reddit post, it will be in the link in the description, and of course there are a few other things about the data that you may want to read if you are a little bit more interested in this. Anyways, let's get straight onto the list and go on to our number 5 spot. So the first person that we're actually going to go on to is actually Roadhog, and Roadhog was a person that I was not expecting at all to be in this top 5 highest skill cap heroes. Normally when you think of Roadhog, you think, well, this guy's pretty easy. You get some hooks, you heal yourself, you press your ultimate, and you get some kills. But when you really think about it, Roadhog does actually take quite a decent amount of skill, and you can really see the skill difference in a good Roadhog and a decent Roadhog by really just seeing how often they hook each other and seeing what Roadhog hooks the other one and what Roadhog kills the other one. Often when you're playing a game of, Overwatch, and you're playing a competitive game, each team has a Roadhog, one will most often just completely demolish the other, and after thinking about that for a little bit, I can quite see how Roadhog will have a high skill cap. He does have a lot of potential to do a lot better if you get good as this character, and that is really where a skill cap comes from. Now for the fourth person in the list, well, it actually happens to be Widowmaker, and this person was a pretty easy person to guess that would be in the 5 highest skill caps. It takes quite a bit of skill, to just aim for far range, get a lot of headshots, and really get work done, and to become a better Widowmaker than the average Widowmaker. Now of course, that's not saying that Widowmaker is an easy character to play by any word, by any sense of the imagination, but becoming good at her does take a lot of time and a lot of effort. Now with that said, also, I was kind of expecting this character to be a little bit higher on the list. I was expecting her to maybe be number 2, maybe even number 1, but I guess she's just ending up as number 4. Which isn't really way too low, but it is kind of like Roadhog. I was kind of surprised where she was placed in the end. Now we have another person that I was really not expecting at all, and that actually happens to be Lucio. And when I was first thinking about this, I'm like, wait, why the heck would Lucio be up here? Why would Lucio's skill cap be so high? Why would it be so hard to get a better win rate? And I think it's because Lucio is so easy to pick up and to play at a decent level. You can put in like 1 or 2 hours and become a decent Lucio. But actually becoming a great Lucio, a Lucio that can carry, a Lucio that can boot people easily, a Lucio that does a lot of damage, a Lucio that can heal, a Lucio that can survive all the time on Capture the King of the Hill maps, whatever. That takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of effort, and that just takes a lot of mental thought process, all this stuff. It's really hard to become a super good Lucio, but it's really not way too hard to be a really mediocre Lucio. So I feel like that's mainly where his skill cap comes from. It's kind of cool to see this character here. I was expecting Ana to be maybe in his spot. Ana is a little bit lower down, but thinking about it, Lucio does take quite a bit of skill to go to a skill cap. Well, he's not the hardest to play at a decent level, so it's kind of cool to see a character that's easy to play, but pretty hard to master. Now to the second spot, and you may have actually guessed this, it's Genji. Now, of course, a lot of people like to say, Genji's easy to play, and a lot of other people like to say, Genji's super extremely hard to play. But it turns out that Genji does, at least in the very end, have a high skill cap. There's a lot of stuff that you can do as Genji. Now the thing about Genji is that I feel like Genjis, you can really have quite a few average Genjis. But Genji's one of those characters that can actually carry the game by himself. He's a character that can do a lot, and he's a character that can dodge projectiles, block projectiles, send them back, of course completely demolish the enemy team support. There's a lot of stuff you can do as Genji, but at the same time it takes a lot of hours to get used to him, get used to his shurikens, get used to landing them, get used to, just taking people out, knowing when to use your ultimate. It's kind of hard to know when to do certain stuff as Genji. It's kind of hard to pull off your different tricks as Genji, but you do have a lot of potential that you have, which you can easily see right here. He's a really high skill cap, a lot of potential, a lot of carrying potential, but it does take time to learn. It does take time to get that potential into your reality. Now to the number 1 spot, a person that I wasn't expecting the most, it's actually Tracer. Now Tracer's a person that I feel like, especially on console, a lot of people are thinking, Tracer's super easy to play. But when you kind of think about it, Tracer is actually pretty hard to play, especially on PC. Now, when you're playing on PC, you got people like McCree that, have pretty much 100% accuracy, or, like 80% accuracy if they're a very good player. So playing as Tracer versus that is pretty hard. It's pretty hard to know when to go in. It's hard to know when to do your stuff. And as well with that, it's kind of hard to play Tracer in general because a lot of the supports actually do decent versus you. You know, Ana can somewhat beat you 1v1. Of course, as well with that, it's very hard for you to kill a Lucio. And also, Zenyatta can actually quite often beat you in a 1v1. So it's kind of hard to know when to play this character, how to play this character. But it does seem that you do have to put in a lot of time to get good as this character. And I can see this. There's a lot of Tracers in my games that I see, they play, and you know, they do okay. They're decent, but they really aren't carrying. While at the same time, you can go into a few games, and you can see these Tracers that have 100, 200 hours on this character. They know how to play her, they know how to dodge projectiles, they know how to dodge stuff, they know how to get in, they know how to get out, and they really know how to carry and just how to do a lot for your team. I can say really with a straight face that Tracer does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to learn, and since he's actually pretty good right now, I'd say it's probably worth it. Now, of course, as well with that, skill caps don't really have any relation at all to, of course, how good a character is, but, you know, with this character in particular, if you really want to put in the time, which it will take a lot of time, it will take the most time, and I feel like it can be somewhat worth it, even with such a high skill cap. And there you go, those are the 5 highest skill cap heroes in the game, and you may be thinking, where's McCree, where's Hanzo, where's Ana? Well, actually, they're number 6, 7, and 8, so there are those characters if you're wondering where those guys are at. And yeah, in general, I'd say this is pretty true to this list. And of course, as far as the analytics, they don't really lie. Now, if you do want to check out the post again, they do have a few things. They have about 4 different things that really are kind of weak about this method, that this method really can't track. Other than that, though, I feel like this is a pretty good list. I'm kind of happy with what really went on as far as this, and it was kind of interesting. I saw some stuff that I wasn't really expecting, and of course, I saw a few picks that I was really expecting. Still, I was very surprised that people like Ana and McCree weren't even in the top 3, though, or at least the top 5. Anyways, though, guys, tell me what you think down below. Tell me who you personally feel like are the 5 highest skill cap heroes, and if you want me to tell you guys who are the 5 low skill cap heroes, at least, you know, according to this method, then tell me and I'll make a video about that in the next few days, very soon. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, press a like and press the subscribe button if you want to see videos like this in the future, or tip videos, which I very often put out. And there you go. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and of course, have a wonderful day.